Welcome to the Living Well Church podcast, and thanks for tuning in today. Our mission as a church is to help people find faith in Jesus and a life of purpose and hope. You're about to watch a message that will challenge you, inspire you, encourage you, and most of all, point you to Jesus and the life of purpose and hope He has planned for you. So lean in and enjoy, and let God speak into your life.
Good morning. Happy New Year. Just want to take this opportunity at the very start of the year to really thank you guys for everything that you did and everything that you served in last year. Last year was like a big year for us. There was a lot going on, and with the move out of our old location in Graceworks House and the move into here, massive amount of work that went on. I just want to really thank you all for that. And I just want you to understand as well that when you serve like that, you're not just serving each other, you're not just serving me, but you're serving the Lord. And everything we do is really valuable. It's equally as valuable to show people into the car park or serve coffee or as it is to preach or lead worship. And I really want you to understand that, because often when someone new comes to church, the first person they see is the person in the car park. The second person they see is probably the person that is welcoming. And the third person they see is possibly someone who's going to give them a cup of coffee. Often people will have already decided by that point whether they're going to come back or not, whatever the worship's like, whatever the preaching's like. So I just want to thank you all for everything you did last year. And I really appreciate it, and it's great that we are in this together. We are team, we are family, we're in this together. I love New Year. One of the things I like about New Year is this opportunity that we have when we often pause a little bit and we sort of take stock of, reflect on what's happened previously, where we are at this point in time, and what we're going to be thinking about doing in the year coming ahead. It's a really good time to reflect and to think. And in this time, we're going to be looking at this first month of the year. We're going to be looking at Jesus, and we're going to be focusing on Jesus. And today, we're going to be looking at Jesus as Saviour. I've been looking at the most popular films of 2018, and I'm going to tell you them. Number one most popular film last year was Black Panther, a superhero movie. Number two most popular film last year, Avengers: Infinity War, a superhero action movie. Number three last year, Incredibles 2, a cartoon version of a superhero action movie. Number four, Jurassic World, a movie about a hero saving us from dinosaurs. Number five, Deadpool 2, superhero action movie. Number six, The Grinch, not a superhero action movie. Number seven, Mission Impossible, another guy who is saving us, a hero who is saving us because we can't save ourselves. Number eight, Ant-Man and the Wasp, superhero action movie. Number nine, Solo, a Star Wars story, another story about a hero not just saving Earth, saving the universe. And finally, number 10, Venom, a superhero action movie. Do you get the idea there that there's something about us that likes heroes? There's something about us that understands that there are times when we can't do things and we need someone greater than us to do something for us. And 9 out of the 10 top films last year reflected that. Reflects something that is in us, something that we understand that we have limitations. We understand that we can't solve and fix everything, and that actually there are times when we need someone to help us. someone who is better than us, someone who is greater than us. We understand that concept, yet actually what we often do is look for things or other people that will help us, that will fill a gap or a void or a limitation that we have. And we chase after things, and we chase after people sometimes. And we're searching for something or someone that will help us because we know there are times in our lives where we can't solve things, we can't fix things, and we're looking for help. And we look in all sorts of places. We think that money maybe is the answer. The more money I've got, the better things will be. Somebody won 115 million last week on the lottery. Will they be any happier? Because the history of most lottery winners is pretty miserable. They actually end up often more miserable with the money, or in the course of losing all the money, than they were before. We look at money, we look at other things. We look at some people pursue sex as this will be the thing that will just solve everything for me. This is where I will find satisfaction. This is where I find meaning in life. Some people look for power. Some people want fame. Some people use drugs. Some people are looking for like an adrenaline experience. I don't know if you've watched those clips on YouTube of guys on bikes cycling along mountain ledges that are about 2 foot wide. It's like, and the sheer drops down the side. I can't watch them. I know they don't fall off because it wouldn't be on there if they fell off. But I can't watch them. But they're after this like adrenaline surge. They're looking for something that's going to give them some meaning and what have you. We look for entertainment. We look for it in other people, in husbands and wives maybe. We're looking for this because we realise we have limitations. There are times when we don't feel complete, and we're looking for that in places. We're looking for that often in people or things. C.S. Lewis says, if I find in my selfish desires, which nothing in this world can satisfy, the only logical explanation is that I was made for another world. Let me just read that again. If I find in myself desires which nothing in this world can satisfy, the only logical explanation is that I was made for another world. C.S. Lewis was one of the great intellectuals of the 20th century. And that's the logical conclusion he came to. That if all this stuff doesn't satisfy, if the stuff this world provides doesn't satisfy, there must be something outside of this world that will satisfy. Someone else who can help us. A saviour, a hero, someone who can make things better for us. As I say, deep down, we know we want this. We watch these films. We know we want this. But sometimes we look in the wrong place for it. We know there's something missing. We know we're not complete. We know we're looking for connection, but we can't find it. What I think we need to remember is that we are souls that have a body. Often we think we're a body that's got a soul. But we're actually souls. We're actually eternal beings that happen to have on earth a physical body. But one day that body will perish and will be no more. I made some cupcakes yesterday, and who really likes food? Yeah, Femi really likes food. So Femi, I'd like you to come and have one of my cupcakes. Just have a little bite and tell me how lovely it is. Is it not doing it for you, Femi? You're actually having trouble swallowing it, aren't you? In the second service, I'm going to have a cup of water at this point. I've learnt something already this service. Have you got rid of it yet? No. Okay. You go and sit down. I'm going to need another volunteer now because Femi can't do it anymore. Jim, did you say you... Jim. So this is my next batch. This is my next batch. Yeah. I actually think this batch looked quite a bit better than the last batch.
Am I going to be like Lazarus?
Let's find out.
Paper seems nice.
Yeah, the paper's good.
The paper's safe.
How's that one for you, Jim?
Well, lacking sugar. Lacking a lot of sugar. Not too bad.
Thank you very much. You can go and finish the rest back there. That's lovely. So these ones in particular actually don't look too bad as cupcakes. On the outside, they don't look too bad, but actually they don't taste very nice. And Jim is very perceptive because what is missing is there is an ingredient missing in here. That ingredient is sugar, and that's why they taste pretty foul. In fact, they don't really have much of a taste at all, and they're really hard to swallow, aren't they, Femi? But what I was trying to show with that is, you see, sometimes we think what we need is more of something. So the first batch of cakes that I made had no sugar in. The second batch I made, which are slightly nicer, have got more eggs in and more milk in, but they still don't taste right. More of something doesn't fix the problem. The issue with this is there's an ingredient missing. And the issue that we have to think about is there something missing in our lives? We can chase after more money, fame, power, sex, whatever, but it isn't going to satisfy us because there's something actually missing. What is that ingredient that's missing? See, we've all, I just want to back that up by saying we've all had one of these things probably: a new house, a new car, a new love interest, a new job, a new holiday, a new watch, some new shoes, new golf clubs, a pay rise, a promotion. Just about everybody's had one of those, or if not a lot of those. And those things are sort of okay for a short period of time. There's a little bit of excitement that comes with them, but then it just fades away. It doesn't, there's nothing sustaining in it. It just fades away. And those things are never, ever, ever going to satisfy us. I've got a friend, and he's tried playing the guitar. Then he tried cycling. Then he tried playing golf. Then he did kickboxing. Then he did yoga. Then he did more guitar, more cycling, more golf, more kickboxing, but never was satisfied. He was always looking for something else. He was always looking for that other ingredient. And I am convinced that that other ingredient that we need in our lives is Jesus. I am so convinced of that. I left my good job to do this. I sold my really nice house to do this. I am convinced that that is the missing ingredient in our lives. And when we've got that, we're in a completely different place. We've got a different perspective on life. We're in a different place. But I just want to talk really quickly this morning, because I said I was only going to be 15 to 20 minutes, and I fear that I'm already going too long. I want to say a couple of things about Jesus. The first thing is, Jesus was a real person, historically verified real person. So sometimes we think, was Jesus just some nice story that we've heard? Jesus was a verifiable real person. There is so much historical evidence about him, more than many other historical figures, that we would never think twice about that they were real people. Jesus was a real person. A lot of people would say he was a great moral teacher. And in fact, a lot of Western culture, in terms of morality and law, is based on what Jesus said. He communicated to us a way of living and how to live, and a right way of living. He was that. But we can't just leave it there, because he also claimed that he was God. And so we have to make a decision. Was he right? Was he God? Or was he actually deceiving everybody? Was he a deceiver, or was he actually God? That is the question that we have to bring ourselves to. That is the response we have to come to. And there are billions, literally billions of people in the world today that have come to the conclusion that Jesus was God. And that what he did by dying and then being raised on the third day, that actually connects us back with God the Father. Billions of people believe that. If you read your newspaper or watched your TV, you would probably doubt that, because the prevailing culture is changing away from that. But the reality is, billions of people have looked at that and said, yes, I believe Jesus was God. And I believe that he is the missing ingredient that we are looking for in our lives. And that with him in our lives, everything changes. Our perspective changes. It changes from being an earthly perspective, that we've got 70-ish years on this earth, let's make the most of it, to an eternal perspective that actually we're going to spend eternity with God. So what we do in these 70 years maybe is we have different priorities and different thoughts and different desires. Jesus said in Matthew 16, 24 to 27, he says this. Jesus said to his disciples, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it. But whoever loses their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will reward each person according to what they have done." So Jesus says some really contrary things there. He's saying, if you lose your life to me, if you submit, if you give your life to me, that's when you will really find life. And we know that there were people that did that, and their lives were transformed. We read about a guy called Zacchaeus in the Bible. We read about Peter in the Bible. We read about Paul in the Bible. Their lives were transformed when they met Jesus. And I can name people sitting here this morning whose lives have been transformed because they've met Jesus. And in fact, we all need to ask ourselves, if we believe we're Christians, about, is our life being transformed? Am I becoming more like Jesus day by day? Am I having that eternal perspective rather than a much more narrow worldly perspective? Does my relationship with Jesus affect my thoughts, my desires, my dreams, my actions? Or is my faith really just like an insurance policy that I can just do life however I want to do it, but I've got this ticket that gets me into heaven at the end of it? Because that's not the life Jesus describes for us. He talks about picking up a cross and following him, that he's the center of our lives, not just a free ticket into heaven at the end of it. So there's two things I've been talking about this morning. One is there is something in us that knows that we have limitations, that knows that we need help from someone who is greater than us. C.S. Lewis says that is someone who is not human. That is someone from outside this world. That is Jesus. And then if we have Jesus in our life, how does that affect our life and our perspective and our actions? Do we treat Jesus as the free ticket into heaven? Or do we treat Jesus as the center of our lives, and that our whole lifestyle is a reflection of that?